Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this update for the channel. It's been a long time since I've done an update for all that's going on, so there is a fair bit to cover in this video, a lot of variety. I've got some great models to show you, updates about progress with the different armies, updates about the league, the direction the channel's we're planning to take as well, and also some other announcements too, so lots to cover. So I'll try and move things along as quickly as I can for you, but there's a fair bit to cover and some great things to reveal and share with you in this video. So first up, big thank you to everyone that supports the channel, those of you that subscribe, watch the videos, like the videos, comment and so on. And then obviously a special thanks to those that sign up and subscribe to YouTube channel membership. The different tiers all helps to keep the channel running. It's much appreciated, and this channel just wouldn't exist without people tuning in and enjoying the videos, and it's great to hear the feedback that people leave, and the main thrill is hearing feedback where people enjoy the games and the channel is a help to them in their hobby. That's really what the channel is all about. So I've been chewing over the direction that the channel's going and which way to sort of lean the channel. Some say you should go competitive, you should try and push into different gaming systems and so on, as others have said no, keep it narrative, keep it hobby. So last season was very busy, lots of factions going on, lots of games, the intensity of different codexes coming out, and that's still the same, there's still plenty of codexes arriving and so on, but really thinking I want to keep the channel going back to its roots, which is a hobby channel. It's an emphasis on the hobby, painting, models, enjoying games, enjoying putting army lists together and so on. So not chasing the latest releases as much, or feeling we're forced to go ultra competitive and so on. So I want to keep a nice flavour to the channel, and it's always somewhere you can come along and enjoy the games, enjoy the battles, immerse yourself in the games and use that as a motivation for your own hobby. So that's the direction which we're mostly going in anyway, but we're going to try and resist getting too ultra competitive and so on, but there will be a little flavour of that in some of the games, because you sort of get this like herd mentality where a crowd will chase one release after the next with 40k, just with new releases, and it's the excitement of new stuff coming out, but we want to sort of keep things calm and just enjoy armies as we're enjoying them. So if you see an army that I'm using on the channel, it's an army that I'm currently enjoying using and expanding my collection and so on. So I want to keep it from the perspective that it's one guy that's really into it, or a collection of guys that are really into their hobby, and then that's just reflected in the videos, and that will help you as you're a viewer and you're collecting your own army and so on. So that's the idea, is motivation, good fun, and enjoyment watching the videos. That's going to be the main emphasis for the channel, but lots of different flavours, especially with the battle reports now. It's starting to get different types of battle reports on the channel, which is very exciting. So for example, with the battle reports, we've got our challenge games have come back strong, so different visitors on the channel bring their own armies, different play styles, paint schemes, and a real depth of hobby with those. So people with different takes on armies, different play styles, amazing colour schemes and painting styles and so on. So great to have Challenger Scorpion. People have a license to go as competitive or as fluffy as they want. That's entirely up to them when they engage in the Challenger Scorpion battles. Then, as with we're on season 10 now for battle reports, we're starting to get different types of games. So we've got the games that I play with James, and those are really more kind of just the classic battle brother games. So with quite narrative, James is big into his narrative and his chanting, and so I'm starting to get a nice theme with that. So you'll see more as there is a license to bring whatever lists you want and go as strong as you want, but also at the same time there's a heavy emphasis on having good fun and a good time in those games, as you'll see. So that's, I liking the direction that's going. It's the classic sort of matchups between myself and James. And then the other battles, we're getting warm-up games, so that's where there's no league, there's no points involved and so on. It's just two armies clashing, and often it's going to be armies that are being developed. You're starting to introduce new units, new tactics, restructuring an army, and that all links in with YouTube channel membership. We've got the army development series where we're proposing new lists. Subscribers are leaving their own feedback and helping to change the list, swap out units and upgrades and so on, and then starting to do experimental battles at sort of 1500 points to 2000 points, those warm-up games. And then people have been asking about the league. The league is back. The first battle report should be out at the same time as this video, and that's where we do take armies and put them into the league all the way through to the knockout stage at the end of the year to establish a channel champion. So that's the different flavours of battle reports. I'm sort of liking the idea of that. So you've got different styles, different types of battle reports, just some slight variation. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. So I'm sure each of you got your own different type of battle report that you like, but nice variety. And because of the support that we get on the channel, I'm able to do pretty much a battle report every week now, usually on Friday, 8 o'clock UK time. So you can set your timer for that and wake up in the morning if you're in the UK, whatever time it is around the world, and you can tune in and watch those games. And then for YouTube channel members, there's usually at least 2, perhaps 3 battle reports for them as a bonus as well on YouTube channel membership. So plenty of battle reports here. That's the main, I guess, the main focus of the channel. But you know, hobby, terrain, painting tutorials, reviews, and all of those kind of videos a major aspect as well. But that's the kind of direction I want to keep the channel going. Don't want to veer off into getting too competitive and win at all costs and so on. But I want to keep it that it's just a collection of guys that are really into their hobby, and that's reflected in the videos that we make. So that's the channel direction. I'll talk a bit more about the league because that's starting up, and I want to talk a bit more about the structure of that and the way that's going to work. I think it's for the better, but there's a different structure for it this season. But I've got some points here we'll go through, just some updates for you coming next for the channel. So stay tuned because we've got some great models. We'll zoom in and take a look at some of the new models that have arrived on the channel. So first up, we've got a brand new sponsor for the channel. So a big thanks to the Outpost for sponsoring the channel. Link for them will be in the video description below. So they are based in Sheffield in the UK. It's a discount 40k store, but their variety, their range is huge. There's loads of stuff available from them, not just Games Workshop, but a ton of different ranges and products available from them. Then they also run, there's 2 other websites associated with them. It's Darkstrider Molten Metals, so I'll put the website for them below as well. But if you're serious about metallic finishes for your models and sort of hyper realistic finishes that you can achieve with them, then do check out the website for that range that's available. And also the Colour Forge with their great range of spray paints available from them, and a load of other stuff available from them as well. So link again, I'll put that link in the video description below. So with the Outpost, big discounts, 40k, it's 20%, sometimes more. A very wide range of games already mentioned, hobby, accessories, paint sprays and so on, all available from them. They also have second-hand buy and sell, so you can trade in your older stuff and also look for second-hand bargains as well, available from them. They ship across the UK, and that includes the Highlands of Scotland, Isle of Man, Northern Ireland and so on. They also have international shipping across Europe. Now I've made a note of the countries where shipping from them is available. So UK, Northern Ireland and so on. Then Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Lithuania, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Spain, Sweden and Switzerland. So shipping is duty paid within the price. That's all covered when you pay your postage at checkout. But on top of that, if your order is big enough, for the vast majority of these countries, you're also able to get free shipping as well, which really helps just to keep the cost of the hobby down. So there's that 20% discount, and if your order is large enough, then you get free shipping as well. So I've given you an example. The Republic of Ireland, 20% off 40k, then orders over £175, you get free shipping, and that's DPD 2-day service. So fast shipping and free shipping if the order is large enough, plus 20% off. It really helps to keep the cost of the hobby down. So that's the Outpost. Big thanks to them for their support. Use the link in the video description below. It's an affiliate link, which means there's no cost to yourself when you use it. You can take that link and save it on your desktop or on your phone, and whenever you use that link, it does help support the channel in a small way, but it builds up a little fund I can use then to get models for the channel to paint up and increase the size and variety with the armies. So it's a great way to support the channel at no cost to yourself. And it looks like the Outpost, great discount 40k store with a wide variety, plus Dark Star molten metals, and then the Colour Forge as well. So we've talked a little bit about channel direction. I want to talk a bit about the actual league itself. So last season, season 9, there was a lot of games because we were trying to do all the factions, which has expanded out by a lot in the last few years, and then trying to do 3 games for each. And then there was a little bit of disruption. We were running things so tight, it then spilled over into this year, 2022. We had to run the final and finish the season off. So it was a good league, loads of armies, loads of variety, but it was just getting a bit too much, and it meant that the league games dominated everything else, and there wasn't as many of the other battles and so on. So the league remains, but we're going to trim it down. And I want to try and link it into the other warm-up battle reports that we're doing. So, to give you an example, my Orc army, I've been working on a new list through army development videos and interaction there, then some battle reports, some friendly games, warm-up battles, challenge games, refining the list, introducing new models. I've added in some new characters and so on, new units for the list. You settle on a list, and then once the army we're saying is battle ready, we then can put it into the league. So that's the idea. Not going to try and put all the factions into the league, but those that have been worked on, are battle ready, happy with the list, and then send them into the league to fight their way through potentially to the final and to be crowned champions. There's a number of armies that have already reached that stage. You'll start seeing them in the league battles, and it means that players can just work on whatever army they like working on. You know, armies, if you're into the hobby and you've got multiple armies, you'll know this yourself, that sometimes an army falls out of favour for whatever reason, and it sort of gets shelved for a little while, and you really like using another army for a while, and that's the same with myself. And really want to try and keep it so that we don't get burnt out and feeling forced to play games for the channel. So I want it to be like where you're playing games that you want to play and using armies that you want to use and just enjoying the whole process. So that applies to myself and all of the players involved. So that's what I want to do. So I'm really enjoying using the Orcs at the moment. I've enjoyed painting up new models, and that's the army that I've been using. So you develop the army, play some friendly games, play some league battles, and then I'll just push the Orcs to the side and then work on the next army. Maybe it'll be a couple of armies on the go at the same time. You get stuck into the army, do it justice, work on it, new units, develop a brand new list to go with the new Codex, play some games, do the league, and then move on to the next one and just enjoy that whole sort of hobby process. So, and if all the players are doing that, then you'll still keep a great variety of games and armies being used. So, and you can keep a lookout for that if you start seeing armies being used in warm-up battles and you think, all right, this army is being prepared for the league, and we'll work it that way. Very random, whatever we fancy, whatever we fancy using. Very much enjoying using, for myself, well, it's a number of armies at the moment. I very much enjoy using the Tower, the Tyrannies, Thousand Sons, and the Orcs, and the Blood Angels at the moment, so there's plenty of variety. Other armies sort of pushed to the side a little bit, but they'll come back, sort of they just go around in a circle. Revamping them is the idea. So then with the league, what we want to do, instead of 3 games per faction, I'm going to play 2. I'm going to change the format a little bit as well. Instead of wins and draws and losses, I will still record that, but to qualify we'll take the top 8 armies that make it through, and that's going to be based on points scored in game, the total points from the 2 games. So an army plays 2 games, they win 1, they lose 1, they score 50 points in each. The total points, 100 points, and if that's a good enough score, then they'll get through to the last 8. So work it that way. It means that if an army loses a battle, they're not necessarily out of the league. They could score enough points to qualify later on in total. So that helps. It's not such a knockout blow if you lose your first game, as it means that there is still some chance of making it through based on your total points. Also means if an army is losing the game, it can go for a rush at the end of the battle just to rake in points as quickly as possible and try and get a total as high as possible. Even if it's losing the game and will ultimately lose the battle, it can try and just rake in the points as quickly as possible. So that can add a nice little bit of flair at the end of some of the games. So keep a lookout for that. I'm still working, trying to figure out a way of recording that so that everyone can see the results and track it, but that'll be announced and be forthcoming, where you can track the exact results of the games and keep an idea of what's going on with the league. So I hope that variety sounds appealing. You've got these different types of games. You've got the more banter battle brother games between myself and James. I doubt James is going to be in the league. We actually live hundreds of miles away from each other, so we meet up for games. But to work out a full league is just impractical. So I think we're happy enough just to do the Battle Brother games for myself and James, a major feature on the channel. So that's the idea. So in the league will be the other players, all being well. So you got those, you got the league battles, the excitement of that, trying to establish a channel champion. The knockout stage will be the same. So take the top 8. They play off against each other in a sudden death games, all the way through to the grand final, and hopefully a runners-up game as well. And the plan is to get that in for the end of the year, to stick to the usual plan for that is the idea. And then along with that, you've got the warm-up games. So no pressure games, experimental games, trying out new units, changing armies around and so on. You've got the challenge battles, also a major part of that. Apocalypse. Very much enjoying the Apocalypse. We've sort of gone down the route of games that we want to play and really would love to see played out on the battlefield. So the recent ones, Ultramarines versus Tyranids, Tau versus Ashmeditarum, just really fun scenarios. It's just no pressure, just trying to play a game that's workable. And just, again, the enjoyment I think comes out in the videos, and so I think that's very important. So very much enjoy putting the Apocalypse battles together to the point where we look forward to putting together the next one. There are plans for another Apocalypse battle on a grand scale, and I hope to keep that series running in the future. So good news for those that have been asking about Apocalypse games. So for the gamers on the channel, if you want to see more content, then I will be splitting the league battles between YouTube channel membership and then regular YouTube games. So if you want to see all the action in regards to the league, then become a channel member at Aspect Warrior Phoenix Lord level. Will grant you access to all of the videos. Also, Challenge Battle started to put some challenge games over on YouTube channel membership as well, just for some variety. And then with channel membership, we've got some unique battle reports as well. So it's the Big Push series, where we take sort of brand new factions that are up and coming. We play 500 point, 1000 point, 1500 point games of those and develop them. Sometimes secret projects, sometimes you can see what's being used, but it's a way of getting sort of stepping stone progress, getting new armies onto the channel. So that's a unique series for channel membership. So next, some people have been asking about Tom. Tom's taking a break from the hobby. We hope to have him back. Look forward to having him back on the channel. But there's still myself, James, Aaron, and new players joined us. Mike Walker, who you'll see in some of the more recent games, challenge battles, and also is going to be helping out with some of the studio armies. Now, very, very useful with Mike is that he plays Blood Angels, Blood Angels player, Thousand Sons player as well, and a Necron player. So that's going to really help out with those armies already on the channel. So it's useful enough for example, the first game, Blood Angels against Orcs. Which side do I take? Well, now there's a dedicated Blood Angels player that can run those quite happily. So that's worked out really well. We welcome Mike to the channel. Hope to see him in a good number of games. So the other things to update you is the factions. I'll run through those briefly. I won't do that now. I want to show you some of the models. Just to mention first of all, I'll zoom in and mention these. So I have some of the Eldar Rangers still available. They're on eBay at the moment. Moving some of my Eldar collection along. So this is one of the metal sets. I have 3 units of them. One set's already gone, but grab these whilst you can. They're over on eBay. I'll leave the links for them. So there's a squad of 5. These ones are in metal. And these will ship internationally, so wherever you are we can post them to you. That's the third one. Fourth, and the one that's kneeling just there. So just mention that. There's other stuff as well. Check out the eBay links. I'll put that in the video description and also in the comment section. But there's a couple of painted units. A bit of history from the channel. These units have seen plenty of action from Eldar force, and a unique opportunity to own some of the models from the channel. So links for them in the video description below. So next up is units that arrived from Siege Studios. These were sent previously, but I've got around to basing them. This is my own Red Scorpions collection. Siege Studios have undertaken to complete the collection for me. The aim is to go for a 2,000 points force. At the moment, with these additional models that have been sent, it's now at 1,000 points. So, I mean, the work on these is fantastic. And they come painted, but I do the basing just to match in with my current collection. So they leave the basing plain for me, and I finish them when they arrive. There's the banner. Absolutely superb, great work from Siege Studios. And they've also done my Inceptors for me. They're assault bolters. So good news with these now, with these additional models that are all based and finished, is we're up to 1,000 points of pure Red Scorpions, Primaris. The intent is to get the next 500 points or 1,000 points done to get a solid Imperial Space Marine army on the channel to fight against all the Xenos. There's loads of Xenos on the channel at the moment, so good solid Imperial armies to take. And that also is a good introduction to these new models that have just arrived from Siege Studios. So it is an expansion on my pure Primaris Imperial Fist army. So here's the bikers. So again, from Siege, they'll base them for you, but I've requested that the basing isn't done by them. They just leave it nice and plain. That's exactly what I've asked for, and I'll do the basing myself just so I can match in exactly the materials and so on that I already have. But they painted these up. Also, I also have the Forge World Imperial Fist transfer sheets. I'll do the transfers myself as well, so they've done the paint job for me exactly as requested. And it's a little bit of a sort of discussed about the yellow with Siege, and one of the great things about them is the attention to detail. Exactly what you tell them, they'll do their utmost to match what you require. So you'll see that the yellow's like a more of a washed out sort of gaunt kind of colour for these. That's just as requested. That is inspired by actually someone that painted Imperial Fists on YouTube about 10 years ago, and I always liked the look of that yellow as opposed to more of the warmer orangey colour. So that's just by request, but Siege have done their utmost to match that for me. So there's one. They're huge models, these things. That's the Sergeant. Nice. Like so. And I believe these ones were built for me. So you can order models through them. They'll build them for you, paint them for you, and so on. So you can just request the unit, the build that you want, the upgrades, the war gear, and so on in the spec sheet, and then they'll build that for you to requirement. So there's the other one. Nicely posed. Brilliant work. So I'll do these in my brown desert sort of style basing for these ones, and then they'll be battle ready. So this is a roughly 500 point batch, which again will push my Imperial Fists, pure Primaris of them, up to 1,000 points. So the intent after this is again to push 500 points or 1,000 just to get this army on the table. Super excited about these. And here is the chaplain. In my opinion, I had one of my top units sculpts from Games Workshop in recent years. Just utterly epic. Chaplain on a bike, Primaris bike, incredible. So they've done a nice job. Difficult enough with the black armour, but it's been picked out nicely. Not too over the top. You can go completely overboard with black highlighting. It looks too much, but they kept it subtle enough, so good work. And the black's different to the tyres, a sort of subtle change there just to mark out the different materials. So it's very, very good. And the glint of the gold. The detail on the purity seals. They've left a shoulder for Imperial Fists in blank for me. I'll put a transfer onto that. And they didn't glue it down, so that's well done. Thanks very much. It makes basing a lot easier. So I can actually just tax in there. You see the two little, just for the sculpt there. and this nice sculpting work that Games Workshop have done. So fantastic. I can take that off, do the basing on this, and then glue him down when he's ready. So brilliant job. Nice, brilliant model, nice paintwork from Siege Studios. Link for them in the video description below for your own painting commission work. And this rare thing, which you hardly ever see, it's the ATV for the Space Marines. I'm going to take one of them just to see how it gets on. It's sort of a mobile element to this list for the Imperial Fist. A lot of it will be just heavy guns and heavy firepower, but for 9th edition, you need some kind of speed, some kind of ability to move swiftly around the board. So I've got the 3 bikers, the chaplain to go with them, and then why not have one of these in support as well, just to push up. So, and again, beautiful work here, all the details they put into that. And again, this was built by Siege and painted up for me. So, very nice work indeed. So again, a nice collection for the Imperial Fists. There's already another 500 points of those. So for a 1,000 point game, you may well see them in action on YouTube channel membership, just practicing, getting used to using different units and so on, thinking about what units to add. Army development videos for these and the Red Scorpions, just to discuss what kind of direction to go with each of those armies and what units to add in to take the armies. The intent is to take both of them to 2,000 points. So there's 500 points there. Sort of a mobile element to this Imperial Fist force. It's perhaps over 1,000 points. This is all the Red Scorpions here. So these ones are mine. Siege Studios have done these. It's Hellblasters from them that they've painted up for me. There's 6 of the Inceptors. They've done 6 of the Aggressors as well. So pretty sizable force here from my own Red Scorpions. Tom's got his own fantastic collection as well. So plenty of that Space Marine chapter represented on the channel. So that's pretty much the update for the channel. So update there for the league, that's what to expect. I know it's come a bit sort of mid-season, but with the less number of games, and not all the factions will be in the league, just the ones that are battle ready. That should mean that we hopefully will be on schedule to get those games done and to reach the sort of the knockout stage, usually October-y sort of time for that. And the different types of games, you've got the banter, Battle Brother games with myself and James, really love and enjoyed filming those games and putting those together. Challenge battles are back for nice variety, Apocalypse battles running, more planned for the future. And then the warm-up games, you see armies develop and make progress, you can track that in those games as well. So good news as far as battle reports are concerned. And the flavour, the direction of the channel is just the hobby. Enjoy yourself when you come here, enjoy the videos, immerse yourself in the hobby, and hopefully it's one of the main things I want out of this for you is inspiration, that you're inspired with your own hobby and the whole process is enjoyable. You watch what others are doing, painting, games, developing armies and so on, that inspires you, encourages you, makes your own 40k experience an enjoyable one as well. Someone said, what about 30k, what about this game and so on. I want to keep it 40k. 40k is enough for me, so that's what you can expect on the channel here with the occasional review of different games. Then the new channel sponsor, the Outpost. Link for them in the video description below, plus the other companies associated with them. So you can use that for discount 40k for the UK, and then a good number of countries across Europe as well. So just briefly, just to give you an idea of what's going on, Imperial Knights got units painted up for this and plan to expand and add some new models here. This is kind of shelved for me at the moment, not so much interested in this, but I do love my Imperial Knights collection, and there will be a point where we get stuck into the Imperial Knights. The first rumblings of these in the distance will be army development video and then sort of warm-up games on membership and on YouTube. That's the kind of, I'll give you an idea when these are on their way. But when I do get into Codex, I want to do it properly, so develop an army nicely, new units, revamp, and then immerse in some good games, not just rush a list together because you feel I have to do it that way. Necrons, the army's pretty much there. There's the possibility of some new units, you can keep a lookout for some updates with them. Thousand Suns, very much enjoying using these at the moment. I've adapted the list a little bit, there's a new unit's been added in, so a slight tweak and change of them. So it's a faction that's under development, pretty much battle ready, and you should see them in the league very soon. Very soon. Tyranids, very strong codex at the moment. Pretty much the whole collection's where it needs to be. I'm pretty happy on a list, so battle ready I would say for the league with them. So next is the Tau. For them, I've developed a list. It's on channel membership, and you can keep a lookout for them with the new list starting to appear in warm-up games, and they're very close to being ready for the league. So happy enough with the Tau. For the Space Marines, so I already mentioned Imperial Fists. I want to try and get them in the fight as soon as possible. 1,000 points to push on to 2,000 for them. Same for the Red Scorpions as well. Then is the Orcs, so they are in the thick of the action. The list has been developed. They've played in some warm-up games, and they're now into the league with those. So that's sort of they're in exactly the right spot at the moment. I'll get the league games done for them, and then move the Orcs on and push on to something else. Blood Angels, happy enough with the list, and into the league with those. Adeptus Mechanicus. Shelved-ish to a degree. I love my Adeptus Mechanicus armies, there's no panic, but doing other stuff at the moment, and look forward to coming back to these. There is a fair expansion of units to add. I've got a stack of models to build for these. There is a big change upcoming for the Adeptus Mechanicus. I may even be tempted, horror of horror, to rebase the entire army. I just feel I want to rebase the army to sort of the brown colour scheme as opposed to the grey. I'd love to hear comments on that. I just think they need to be on more of a browny, Martian-y sort of colour scheme for them. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There is a fair bit of work involved though, so I have pushed them to the back a little bit. But Adeptus Mechanicus, again, you keep a lookout for as activity for those on the Army Development video series and as warm-up battles. Space Force pretty much ready to go. There's a few more Thunderwolf Cavalry I want to add on to them to change the list around, but very close to battle ready. You can keep a lookout for them. Drakari pretty much battle ready as well. List is finalised and finished for them, so you can expect to see them in the league very soon. And then for the Eldar, so Harlequins, a little bit shelved at the moment with those. I hope to do them justice a bit more in the days ahead. And for the Eldar, the plan with them, I think, is going to be a long-term plan of a complete overhaul of my collection. So they are a little bit out of favour at the moment. It's a bit strange because the channel strike is Scorpion 82, but I'm just enjoying using other factions at the moment. But the table will turn and we'll come round to the Eldar. Lots of experimentation, lots of new units I'm planning to add with the major revamp that Games Workshop have done. But I don't want to force myself into it or to rush into it, but instead to immerse myself in the enjoyment of painting Eldar models again. And the sculpts from Games Workshop are utterly incredible. The Codex looks absolutely fine, but I want to give it the attention that it deserves, and so there's other stuff I'm working on, other factions, get those out of the way and pay a visit to the Eldar and do them justice, do a good job with them. There is a secret army which has reached nearly 1,000 points, a crazy project that's been revealed on YouTube channel memberships. You can check that out. There's a 500 point game already. I'm looking forward to filming 1,000 points, and I want to push those on and get them finished as soon as possible. So that's that secret faction that is on the way. So that's the update for the channel. I hope it's given you an idea of what's going on, what's to expect. But again, big thank you to all your support, for those that support in all different ways, just by watching the videos, sharing the videos, liking the videos, commenting. If you haven't already, then hit the notification button. That'll let you know when the new videos are out. And again, big thanks to all those that support me on both Patreon and also on YouTube channel membership at all the different levels that are available. But as I said at the start, without you tuning in and watching and supporting, this channel wouldn't be here. So here's a big thank you to everyone that tunes in, and the plans to keep it hobby, keep it fun and inspirational is the plans for the future. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.